but she wasn't curious enough with kids to find out what was going on. So she told my dad, my stepfather, Charlie Thomas, to take me with the paperwork because I really wanted to do it, but I don't know why I wanted to do it. But some of the kids' parents allowed them.
What is the do to, James? We just got lost in the story. So what is the if they were asking you to do? What is the paperwork? You forgot to tell us what that was.
We had a big deal with Tourette's that we would be going to Washington, D.C. We were going on a trip to Washington, D.C. And we were going to... No, the Spinnerettes.
The Spinnerettes. Okay, so you're part of the Spinnerettes, and you've been approached, and then you're going to be doing a trip, and you're going to be going to Washington, D.C. Your mother's overburdened with children, so she's handed the responsibility off to your stepfather. And tell us what unfolds from that, please. Very slow. You're good. You're doing good. You're doing really good.
Well,
you are.
He was briefing me like, do you really think you want to work for the government? I said, I don't know, but what's it? I don't know. But he said it's a real, it's really a you were going to go to, you're going to Sam Houston State, and which I did. I went to the university early. You're real smart, and it's a good thing, but I really want you to think about it. But he knew something because he said, I was dumb as a rock, really. I mean, I had skills, but I was really about excitement and doing things. So I was just like, me too, because I want to do it. I didn't no thought process.
I'm gonna slow you down one more step, and talk about this person who's your stepfather. How you felt that he knew, because you're looking back at this story and the memory's perfect inside of you. But look back at that story and tell me how you knew that he knew more. Talk about the subtleties of that.
Yeah, because he had to go in the meeting, but after the meeting, he was an adult, so he knew more. But he had asked on the sideline, I think he talked to Yvonne McCutcheons, because he took me after the meeting of signing the paperwork and turned it in and all that, to the mall, and we sat in the mall for a minute. He told me, he was trying to explain it, but I didn't understand, so he said, I tell you what, you see that name, we could see Hobby Airport or something like that, the airport in Houston. It wasn't the big one yet. We didn't have the big, or maybe we did have the big one. I don't remember, but it was.
No, I know what mall you're talking about. It was
you
golf,
do?
It was golf. Yeah, it was golf. It was Golf Mall.
Yeah,
but that mall doesn't exist. Yeah, Gulf Freeway Mall, but that freeway doesn't exist anymore. But it was close to the airport.
What was that airport called? He told me to remember the man. Was it Hobby Airport?
It was Houston. It's Hobby. Yeah, the Gulfport Mall was by Hobby Airport.
Houston Hobby, I think is what they called it. Okay, but
yeah,
he just told me to remember.
Hobby.
He said he knew someday that I wasn't going to remember all this or somehow, because he could tell I wasn't into it. I was just about going to Washington. He knew I didn't know what was really going on, but he said, you're real talented and you're real smart, and you're going to Sam Houston. Because see, when I went to Sam Houston State, all of us got to stay at a dorm, but we were going for the baton twirling camp, 6 or 8 weeks, at the university, and we got to stay there. So, but he said, just remember the name of that airport, and that'll tell you someday. And I always did. I remember, like she said, sitting at that mall. And whatever I was going to do had something to do with the name of the airport. The man, he said, just remember the name of that airport, and you'll get it some. Yep. Okay.
So now you have a really great touchstone here. You have a touchstone of an individual who you trust. You have a passion for being competitive and the best in a sport, and you have a lot of intelligence. And so you've been given an honor. So touch into that feeling inside of yourself that you have been separated, recognized, honored, and are being given something, and then continue the story about how you know. that you're going to Washington that doesn't directly relate to the story of being a baton twirler, but it relates to going to Washington. The excitement is there, but the clarity of the memory is centered in the fact that you now know intuitively and subconsciously that you are being recruited. So this is the intuitive process of the cues that happen. And remember, it's appropriate to the developmental age because we're in chakra number 3.
Okay. I don't know what all that means, but okay. Basically, we didn't go, and I was real disappointed.
Okay.
They said because there was so many that decided they were bringing the ladies down to interview us. And they came to my house, but they said they were with the 2 ladies came to my house, and they were in they looked like airline stewardesses. I was, in other words, they won't take us, so I'm pissed off. But I know I was at a baseball game because I played baseball. I had to be active 24/7. I had to play baseball. So if I wasn't twirling at high school, then I was at the summer. I was in my uniform. We had shorts and big long socks, and 2 ladies come in my house. My dad's at work, and my mom's in the kitchen. And she calls me in after they had to wait on me till I got through my baseball game. So they'd been there like an hour and a half. So by the time I walked in the front door, they were all like, couldn't wait to talk to me. And so Mother made me sit down. Don't sit like a boy. Put your legs together. These are the ladies, because I was a real tomboy. So I remember I got in trouble with these ladies because I was not a lady. I was a tomboy. And, I was sitting there with my glove and pitching my ball and sitting in the chair listening to these ladies pitching me on what did I want to work for the government. So,
okay.
I don't know, it went on for a while. They interviewed me. I don't know what I said. But
that's the third approach. And the third approach is really...
That's the fourth time.
Okay.
Remember, I had the guy at the high school, and I don't know which one comes in. The guy at the high school, Men in Black, he goes under and buys me a hot dog. His daughter had me come up and show him the machete. So there's that part. Number 2, there was 3 parts. Let's see. Let's see.
Second part was
you and
theater.
Number 2 was
the movie.
That's number 2.
The movie.
Number 3 is at the mall where they met with you and your dad took you to the mall afterwards.
Yeah, we had to turn the paperwork in, and then I think I'm going, but I'm all disappointed. But they had so many of us, they were going to bring the ladies down to interview us. So they came and interviewed me at home.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's 4. But it's all, I don't know if it's all the same story. It's my experience.
How do you know, TJ, how do you know they wanted you to work for the government? The ladies
they
in your
said
home.
the government.
Did they say
They say the government.
And did they elaborate, like, what that meant? Like,
I'd
the
ask
military
them
or
the... No. Nobody ever tells you nothing that way.
Did they say they were from the government?
Yeah, you have to fill out the paperwork. Mama knew.
Yeah,
they called Mama on the phone and made an appointment.
Okay.
But
How
did you
old
want
are
to know
you?
what they wanted to do in the government?
I was 15.
You're 15. Okay.
Okay.
So here's your timeline that you've covered with us. You've covered your timeline. You've covered the 4 approaches. Okay. So each time there's an approach, there's another person who's with you and makes the introduction. Right? Do you see that part? The first part is
Mom. Because I asked Mom, how do you know they were coming? She said because they called me on the phone and they had to wait. That's why they were so impatient. Because I wanted to hurry up and get out. I was sweaty and wanted to hurry up and get a shower, and they were just holding me up. So, but she told me they were with, that this is about your interview you wanted. Mother was very, what do they call that? Like this is what you wanted. Sit down and shut up, kind of thing, right? So I didn't know because I'd been playing baseball and she didn't tell me. They just happened to call her and make an appointment that day. It's the way I got it. They were in town. They made an appointment. Go ahead.
Let me ask one thing. Did you wonder what you were going to do for the government?
No.
What did you want to do? I mean, you just wanted to do anything for the government?
I don't know. I just was a kid. It was a job, I guess. I don't know. I just knew that's what we were going to do. That's just what they, I don't know. I was a Me Too person.
Okay. So it's a great question, because they did something in their conversation and in their approach with you that made you feel comfortable, like this was going to be okay, this was going to be cool, this was going to, right? So they sold it to you in a way that was really, really subtle. You never felt like there was anything wrong. You felt this was normal. It made you feel good. The adults around you encouraged you and told you this is important. This is how we do it. And so
those girls were pretty. They were real pretty. They looked like Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders.
The other thing, she was always with someone she trusted when they approached her.
Mm-hmm.
They never approached her alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an interesting observation.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I recommend, because Debra, not Debra, Suzanne, you're doing an amazing job. I want you to interview me someday, because you'll help me get in touch with memories. I recommend everybody does this type of process sometime in their lives, where you have somebody facilitate you to take you back in time to these are your family of origin and cultural conditioning and religious programming and things that are critical for you to remember. So thank you, Suzanne, for a great job. But for just like the next 10 minutes, let's just let Suzanne conduct this interview. Now, if you have questions, Debra and Karen, write them down, and I'm going to do the same. And then when you're done with a good point, Suzanne, then say, go ahead, ladies, who has a question? And then let's do the next step, because this is really valuable, what you're doing. Go ahead. Back to you.
Oh, thank you. I really consider myself somewhat of a, thank you for the compliment, thanks for the confidence. I love doing this work, and I really relate to the experience that Theresa is telling us, because of her memory is so accurate and is so flawless, but somebody has to encourage her and tell her that she's right. And Theresa, you're doing a really good job, and whenever you have like a sense of discomfort, you should voice it to me, because you're moving through a huge piece of material. I don't even think you really even understand how big a piece of material you're working through, but you're moving so effortlessly. It's lovely to do it with you, okay?
Okay.
Okay. You are.
Sure.
You're doing it. You're doing it, and it's just a so here we are. We have these pieces of the story of where the first person who caught your attention was your friend, and I think you said his name was Pat Roach, and he was the one who actually spotted you. He's the one who saw the talent. He's the one who took and submitted the information, and then the next stage is when the next group of people want to have a conversation with you to get a feel of you.
Pat Roach? He was a Mason. I remember he encouraged my daddy. He was Janie Ferguson's stepdad that lived down a few doors down. But, yeah, he was high in the Mason group. I remember my daddy getting in the Masons through Pat, and he drove Daddy to work every day.
Okay, good. So there's the element of trust. There's our foundation piece. So this person knows your family, he knows where you live, and he's the one who starts the process. The next,
really?
Yeah.
Back in Monroe. That was West Monroe. Huh. I never thought of that before. That's who taught me how to twirl batons. So they did tell me back then, because I was in television. So I was at James A. No KNOE, that I was going to be important and all that. And they had me dress up in real pretty little dresses and show up in school and go to be on television for KNOE in El Dorado, Arkansas. So they had me singing on television. And they took my fingerprints, too, when I was a kid. So they took my fingerprints.
Wait. What? Fingerprints?
Yeah.
Why?
Let's save that.
When you were born, right?
Let's save that for a moment. Let's save it for a moment, okay? Okay. So
Okay.
So Theresa, here you are. You're a young woman, and you've caught the attention. And two things have emerged in your story that you've told. One is that you